Make your way to a comfortable laying down position if that feels good for you to start in. As always, you could take your own way, make your own way, starting in a seat, or sometimes it feels nice to start in crocodile pose, belly down and your hands beneath your forehead. If you're going more of a classic route here, maybe Shavasana will do today with your arms and legs outstretched in any which way. If your low back seems a little tight like that, you can always stand your feet up near the edges of your mat with your knees bent, and then allow your knees to rest together at the center. If you've never tried this constructive rest variation, it feels so nice. Even if you don't have a tight low back, you can always choose your own adventure. Just notice how things flow here as you first arrive, taking stock of your physical and your mental state. Seeing if anything arises, what's bubbling below the surface for you, just taking a quick moment to scan. Noticing your breath. See if you'd feel even better elongating your breath, especially your exhales. Noticing if it's possible for you to just breathe in and out through your nose. It's a great habit to be in, nasal breathing. Draw the air down nice and low. You can feel like the belly is what you're breathing with here, letting the belly expand with your inhales. And everything softening with your exhales. We know this is the diaphragm moving here, diaphragmatic breathing, the main muscle of breath, respiration. Just clearing the slate with some big, comfortable breaths. And as you continue to expand your awareness of your breath, see if you can not only create the sensation of the belly expanding, but imagining or witnessing those little muscles between the rib cage, between the ribs, the intercostals. See if you can kind of recruit them to also help with the inhales. So inhale, belly expands, low rib cage expands, maybe a hint through the chest, and just exhale however it wants to leave. So belly and rib cage breathing. Try to take a couple of the biggest breaths of the day. Most refreshing. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, now's a great time to bring something to mind. Maybe something you're focusing on or growing in your life. Maybe something you're grateful for. Maybe it's just your reason for being here. Let's take 3 clearing breaths, sighing breaths at your own pace. At some point, breathing all the way in through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Keep going, 3 total. right. And we're going to take 3 humming breaths. Humming is a quick way to kind of engage the parasympathetic nervous system, that restful side of things. It also stimulates the vagus nerve, which is one of the most intricate nerves we have through the body. Touches pretty much every organ throughout the midsection of the body. So let's try this humming breath. We'll simply inhale all the way and then exhale, make some kind of sound. Maybe it's a hum, maybe you vibrate with the Sanskrit word om. You could say a different word, but let's do 3 rounds of some kind of humming or vocalization. So inhale to prepare. Try to keep going till the very last part of your breath, and go ahead and repeat, choosing the same or a different variation. Keep going at your own pace. Take a little rest once you're through with the vocalizations or humming, softening your body and just noticing any reverberations from those sounds. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. We'll head into a long body stretch, reaching hands and feet in opposite directions. You might not only stretch through the whole body, but also the toes and the fingers, stretching and reaching. Add on any other little movements, maybe a swirl of the wrists or a little circling of the ankles. Find a few things that feel nice. All right, let's start to hug the knees in toward the chest. If you have anything under your head, you might want to move that away for now. So knees hugging in, tuck your chin a little bit more toward your chest, and then set your head back down, just so the back of your neck feels a little longer. Take some free movement here, circling your knees, rocking some massaging pressure over the low back, sacrum, maybe a little bit into the hip joints or the glutes, if you can find the way. All right, we're gonna head up to a seat next. You could either try rocking and rolling a couple times up and down the spine, rounding the spine as you go. But for a lot of people, if you're on a hard surface, that might be too much. So you can always roll over to one side and then use your hands to help press your way to a seat. We'll tent the fingertips up and lengthen upwards through the spine and the crown of the head. There's always that visual of as if there was a string holding your head up nice and tall, finding length and space there. With an inhale, flip the palms and slowly reach your hands together overhead. Option to look up if that feels okay on your neck. Join the palms and exhale to bring your hands down to heart center, tucking the chin at the bottom. Inhale, hands go high. We're reversing it. Exhale, sweep the arms around and down. Let's do that a few times, maybe closing your eyes so you can really sync it up with your breath. You're inhaling, using the entire inhale to reach your hands up. Entire exhale, bringing hands to heart center. Inhale, hands go high. Exhale, back down and around. Go one more time on your own. If you don't quite remember it, just try to guess. We'll meet up with fingertips on the floor. Let's take a little side bend series here. We'll switch sides back and forth each time. So let's start by planting the right hand down. Let's inhale and lift that left hand straight up first. So again, we're finding length upward. And then with an exhale, we're side bending to the right. Inhale, reach high. We'll switch sides. Exhale, left hand lowers, and we reach with the right hand. Always thinking about that lengthening in between. Inhale to the center. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, rise. Exhale, side bend to the left. Come back up to center now. Exhale and lower your arms. We're going to try one more variation with these side bends. We're switching around where the breath is this time. So instead of exhaling as we reach, we're going to inhale as we reach and imagine that we're creating more space for the lung, that's side bending. So let's just give it a try. So let's inhale and rise up to center. Exhale, right hand finds the floor, but the left hand stays lifted. Inhale, side bend to the right. Create that space in the left lung. Exhale, bring that left elbow, bend your left elbow and bring that left arm down. Let's do that again on this side. We're inhaling as we reach the left hand over, side bending. Exhale, pull it down, bending that left elbow. One last time, inhale, side bend to the right. Exhale, back up to center. Let's switch sides. Bring your left hand down. Inhale, right hand high. Exhale here. We have to go to the inhale. So inhale as you side bend to the left. Exhale, pull the right arm down, right elbow bending. Inhale, make that space, side bend to the left. Exhale, pull it down as you rise. One last time, inhale, bend. Exhale, pull it down. All right, I'll be curious to know if you noticed anything in that section. Let's move along to hands and knees next for cat and cow. Always the option to bring a little extra cushioning under your knees if you're on a harder surface. With your inhale, let's lower the belly, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze, press the floor away. Cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, press up through the mid-back, cat. Inhale, cow, belly lowers, gaze lifts. Exhale, cat, rounding your way up. Keep going and flowing here. Inhaling as we gaze up, exhaling as we round to cat. Couple more times through, warming up the spine, the wrists, the shoulders, even the hip joints a little bit if you're tucking and untucking the tailbone. Next time you're in cat pose with your back rounded up, let's just pause there. Just breathe like normal. Let your head be a little looser now. And then reach your right ear toward your right shoulder. Move the left shoulder back slightly. You could just bend that left elbow, creating a little more stretch through the left side of the neck. Coming back to center and switching sides when it feels right to you. Left ear toward the left shoulder. And that right elbow perhaps bending slightly, creating more length through the right side of your neck. Come back to center. Let's meet up in extended child's pose, knees out wide, big toes touching behind you, maybe sinking your seat down toward your heels or keeping your seat lifted if the knees don't like that deep bend. Lowering the head and the heart just as much as it feels good to do so. If it feels uncomfortable, I highly recommend adding more and more props to support you until you're not feeling that discomfort. Rather, you're feeling supported and held so that your muscles and your mind can relax enough. Enjoy a few rounds of belly breathing. Make sure the knees are out wide enough that your body has enough space for those full breaths in and out. Maybe you can create the sensation that as the breath fills, there's even more length and space through the spine. One more breath here. And breath out. Come on up to tabletop. And we'll get ready for our first downward facing dog. Always love to use the blocks, at least for the first round. So if you have them, bring those up to the top. Hands planted firmly up near the top of your mat. Curl your toes under. Pick up your knees. Send the tailbone high. Press your hands down into the blocks or the floor so much that you start reaching, activating through your shoulders. Find your breath. Commit to a flowing breath. And maybe start to pedal your legs out, bending and straightening opposite knees. Maybe rising up to the tippy toes together at some point. And lowering the heels back down. There's so many ways to play. One more breath here, in and out. Bend your knees and look up toward your hands, but with your exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat, bending your knees as you go. End up in a forward fold at the back. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And as you fold, let your knees bend slightly. All right, let's walk the hands up the legs, coming up to stand, but take it slow. You're in no hurry. When we get to the top, let's inhale and bring the shoulders up by the ears. Exhale, circle them back and down. Just let your hands kind of move how they want to. Inhale, shoulders reaching up. Exhale, lower the shoulders back and down. Let's do that a few more times, and you can kind of get the arms involved a little bit if you like. We're just inhaling as the shoulders lift toward the ears. Exhaling as we circle them down and back, like you're tucking them into the back pockets. Start to turn this into a little bit of a shake moment. So maybe the shoulders lifted lower a couple times, or give it a good shimmy. You could lift and lower your heels, getting that nice deep bounce going through the tissues of your body. We're freestyling here, so just getting some movement going, a little shaking, a little bouncing. Maybe some dancing or jumping. All right, once you feel a little bit of warmth, let's come to the back of our mat. Spin the palms to face the front of your space here, finding our Tadasana mountain pose. Take a look at your feet. See if anything seems out of place and kind of adjust if needed. Flipping the palms to the front of the space so that it's easier to hug the shoulder blades together in the back. Doing it in a really low stress kind of way. So we're not gripping the shoulders back, but they're engaged. With an inhale, lift your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands all the way out to your high plank. Just one breath in here. You can lower your knees right away if you'd like. Exhale, knees lower, move the blocks to the side, chest lowers. Breathe like normal as we set up a new flow. We are going to experiment with our baby cobra and then also half locust with the legs lifting behind us. So we're going to take it slow the first couple of times here. So for some people, it might feel okay to rest your forehead on the floor or a pillow or a block. We're going to work with the lower body here first. So the hands can just stay planted next to the chest, elbows hugging in. The upper body is still active here. With an inhale, see about lifting just the legs behind you. So keeping the legs straight, we are lifting. Maybe you feel your glutes engaging. And then exhale and lower back down. If that felt like a little too much, you can do it one leg at a time. Let's give that a try. Let's inhale and just lift the right leg up. Exhale, lower. It doesn't have to go very high. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, lower. Keeping your feet down, let's find a baby cobra. Press the tops of your feet down. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower. Switching here. Inhale, your version of the leg lift. Exhale, lower. One last time. Inhale and baby cobra, lifting head and chest. Exhale, lower. Just rest for a breath in. Sigh it out. Inhale, press up to tabletop. Exhale, child's pose, your variation. Knees could be out wide or a little closer together. Big breath in and out. Inhale, rise up to tabletop. If you still have your blocks handy, you might want them for this next little part. Take a breath in, and with an exhale, downward dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bend your knees, look to the top of your mat. With your exhale, step just the right foot forward. And as always, if it's difficult to step it all the way up, you can step it more out to the side first and then toe heel your right foot in. Let's lower the left knee right away. Grab your blocks up on the highest setting. Let's sink the hips forward and down, puffing up through the chest and imagining that tucking of the shoulder blades in the back pocket again. Today, it's kind of feeling for me like up on the fingertips on the highest setting of the block. Feels good. We want to focus some stretch through the left hip flexor area, the front of that left hip. So we don't want the back involved too much. You can kind of come in and out of this position a couple times, trying to work out a sweet spot. Low lunge. Let's make our way back to our half split. So the hips reach back, lifted over that back knee. Peel your right toes up off of the floor. Keep as much of a bend in that right knee as you need to. Then inhale, pretend you're halfway lifting like you do during our other flow sections. And then exhale, find some kind of folding forward. Let's try to keep the spine more neutral. So if you can feel that you're rounding forward and feeling more like a cat pose, try to counteract that, almost like you're going to try to find cow pose. That's more like neutral here. This is another one. You could bend into the knee a little bit more and then straighten that right knee a little bit. Just finding a range of motion that's working for you without forcing your body into shapes it doesn't want to go into. Okay, plant that right foot back up at the top of your mat. Left hand, we can bring the block maybe on the lowest setting under the left hand. Right hand comes to your right knee. Our hips are still reaching forward. Press into your right knee as you turn. You twist your chest toward that front knee, toward the right. Keep the left shoulder active. So if that left shoulder is coming up by your ear, try to press it down and away. You can stay right here or add on some variations, maybe lifting that right arm up in the air, rotating out your right wrist. If you're one of the strengthening type of people, maybe tucking your left toes under and lifting your back knee. Keep breathing, staying with it. Just one more breath in. Exhale, lower your hand down. All right, next move is a little bit tricky, but we're gonna make it. So our first option is going to be to bring the right foot out to the outside of the right hand. So it's way out wide. Curl your left toes under. We're gonna make our way to three-legged down dog. So left toes lift up. Press off of your right foot, lifting that right foot up in the air behind you. Three-legged down dog. Try to give that one more try. Step your right foot up. Your foot, either in between the hands or on the outside again. Lift up the back knee. Step your right foot back. Three-legged down dog. Breathing in and out. One more little exploration here. Inhale, come forward to a high plank with that right foot lifted just for a second. Exhale, lower the right foot back to down dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat. Forward fold at the back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Soften your knees. Inhale, rise all the way up. Join your palms overhead. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Take a few moments, finding your center, working with your intention. Finding that little place inside, maybe not so little, but that place inside where things are just always somehow okay beneath it all. That part of you that remembers peace and love and connection, of justice and true peace. Let's take a clearing breath now in through your nose, side out. Inhale, hands reach high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands out to your blocks, high plank. Just for one breath in, breath out, knees lower, move those blocks to the side, and then lower your chest. Flip the feet so the tops of your feet press down a lot. We're going to go through that upper body, then lower body flow. So baby cobra will be first. Inhale, lifting your head, lifting your chest, but still gazing down. So your neck isn't cranked up. Exhale, lower. Keeping the head down. Inhale, lift your feet, Maybe together, maybe one at a time. Not too high, just enough. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the feet. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press your way up to tabletop. Exhale to your version of child's pose. Couple nice big breaths. Let your breath expand your back. One more breath here, in and out. Inhale, rise up to tabletop. Knowing that stepping forward will be part of our future in our flow, I like to use the blocks for sure because it makes stepping up and stepping back way easier. So grab those if you want, and with an exhale, find your way to your down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bend your knees, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, step just the left foot forward. Do what you have to. And lower your right knee to the mat. Breathe like normal here. Maybe bring your blocks to the highest setting as you shift your hips forward and down. You can keep your right toes tucked under or flatten to the top of your foot. Puff your chest up, maybe coming up to the fingertips on your blocks. So we really are focusing on this right hip flexor now, not on our back. As always, you can kind of come in and out of the pose, finding some comfort if you like that movement. When you're ready, finding your way to your half splits, pulling the hips back, peeling your left toes up off of the floor. Keep a little bend at least in that left knee. Inhale, find that halfway lift feeling, flat back. Exhale, hinge at your hips so the heart is leading in your fold. Don't go too far. You can play with this a little bit, bending and straightening that knee a little more, or flexing and then pointing your left toes. All right, let's step that left foot down to the mat. All right, we're going to transition to our three-legged down dog. Or no, we're doing our twist next. So the right hand gets the block on the lowest setting. Left hand to your left knee. Press into your left knee as you twist the chest toward the left. Check in with that right shoulder. Press down through the floor so you're really staying lifted and active through the whole left arm. You might stay right here or choose any variation to spice things up a little bit. Maybe just lifting that left arm, circling out the left wrist. You can lift that right knee. Anything else? One more breath in. Exhale, lower your hand. Now we're stepping back to three-legged down dog. So the left foot either in between the hands or way out wide on the left side of your mat. Curl your right toes under. Push off of the left foot. Three-legged down dog with the left foot lifting behind you. One breath in and out. Option to inhale, come forward to a high plank with the left foot lifted. Exhale, lower your foot, downward dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look to your hands. Exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat. Forward fold at the back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Join your palms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a few moments. Let's take a clearing breath now, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Go ahead and blink your eyes open. You can let your hands come down. We've done a lot of work through the lower body today, so our balancing will be a little bit more simple, straightforward. We're going to do, starting at the way back of your mat. As always, if you need to step to a harder surface or get some support next to you with a wall or a counter to hold on to or a chair, definitely do that. Come to the way back of your mat. Then see if you can rise up to your tippy toes, maybe just halfway at first, maybe exploring lifting as high as you can up to the tippy toes. See if you can just find somewhat of a comfortable amount of struggle. And we're just going to tippy toe walk to the top of the mat. So take it slow. Just notice how much of that wobbling, those are those stabilizing muscles. Doing something like this is really putting them into overdrive here. So just keep taking some steps forward. Try to enjoy those little wobbles if you can. We know we're strengthening. All the way up to the top of the mat. And then with an exhale, eventually lowering your heels. All right, we're gonna come to the back of the mat again, so just walk on back. Now we're gonna try one more variation of this, and it will be walking on our heels. So if you have any kind of tightness through the back of your feet or the back of your leg here, your hamstring or your Achilles tendon, anything like that, it might not work well for you to lift up your toes and be on your heels. If that's the case, you can always come back to your tippy toes and take one more round like that. So just do your best here. We're going to step onto the heel of one foot and then onto the heel of the other foot. It's okay if the rest of your foot has to come down. We're just kind of playing. Walking on the heels if we can. Whew. Keep going. Do your best. Try to make it fun. When you get to the top, go ahead and step down. All right, let's come all the way down to the floor now. Slowly lowering. If you want to do a quick squat or anything, go ahead as you make your way eventually to a seat and then to your back. Take your time, rolling onto your back at some point. Hugging your knees in toward your chest, taking some more of that free movement, circling the knees, checking in with your low back and the sacrum. Noticing any other little messages that come through from your body, from spirit, from who knows where. All right, and then lowering your feet down. Let's take a long body stretch, reaching in opposite directions with the fingers and toes. All right. Let's take a quick twist with the knees. So bending your knees, standing your feet up on the mat. We'll just do a little windshield wiper motion today. So toe heeling your feet out a little bit wider. You can play with the distance between and let your knees sweep to one side and then to the other. Just back and forth like a windshield wiper situation. Maybe turning your head in the opposite direction that your knees are going. So when the knees are to the right, the gaze would be, and the head would be turning to the left, and vice versa. You're welcome to continue some twisting or head into any last movements, poses, or stretches that your body is wanting. Maybe a happy baby or a sip of water. Who knows? It doesn't even have to be a yoga pose. Finishing up any little movements. Eventually finding your way to a comfortable final rest position. Offering the suggestion today to grab a pillow and then your blocks. The option is to bring the soles of the feet together and then the knees out wide. Stand your blocks up on whichever setting they need to feel fully supported. So even if you have really open hips and you don't necessarily need the blocks, try having the blocks anyway. It'll help you release even more, probably. So sometimes it's a little precarious getting the blocks into the right spot if you're on a higher setting, but just doing your best. You could improvise with some pillows or blankets under the knees. Let your arms find a comforting expression. Checking in with your shoulders and your arms. Tending to your comfort as you get set up. We'll be here for a little while, so make sure there are no little bothers right at the start, because they usually only grow with time. Maybe blinking the eyes closed or taking a couple of sighing breaths as you settle in to stillness or relative stillness. Noticing and relaxing the root of your tongue, your jaw. Let your shoulders sink down toward the floor. Checking in with your neck, your scalp, smoothing out your forehead, your eyes, creating a sense of total peace, at least looking that way. Sometimes that's how it starts. Becoming aware of your throat. Both shoulder joints, shoulder blades, the center where your spine runs up and down your back, your upper back, middle of your back, lower back, sacrum, right hip socket, left hip socket, both hip joints together, down to your knees, down the shins to your ankle bones. Tracing an energetic line around the outsides of your feet like they were being traced on the warm cement with some chalk. Just, little kids playing, nothing more grim. Just a fun sidewalk outline in chalk. Noticing each and every toe. And in your own unique way, create some kind of sensation of peace, of love, of groundedness, somehow. in your body. You could work with an element or a color, maybe imagining a wave or water, clearing things away, or air blowing something away, blowing something on in. See if there's a way that you just kind of intuitively know to clear and ground. Please know that you are so very welcome to stay and continue your rest as long as you'd like. Eventually, when reawakening sounds good, let's wiggle fingers and toes, gently inviting some more movement in, maybe circling your wrists, maybe letting your head rock from one side to the other, swallowing or yawning. Maybe helping your knees up to center, just giving them a little boost. Any other movements as you eventually make your way onto either side, finding the fetal position with your knees slightly tucked in. Take at least one nice full round of breath. Eventually, at the bottom of your exhale, use the help of your hands to press your way up to a seat. Joining hands at heart center, maybe closing your eyes or just kind of turning your gaze downward. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May we know true peace in our hearts, true peace through our words, and truth through our thoughts. Bringing thumbs up to third eye center, let's seal our practice together with a little gesture of gratitude by bowing forward together now. Peace.